Okay, ji, good morning everybody. Today is 29th of September 2020. The day is Tuesday, and right now I am with the 10th Cambridge, and my name is Ferhan Mazher, and today's our target in the physics is to study and learn that how to locate image in a mirror. Okay, so the basic thing on which we are working is to locate image in a mirror. Okay, so for example, suppose here I have a mirror, and in front of that mirror here I have an object. Okay, for example, here I have a mirror and this is an object, and suppose exactly here we have an observer, and I want to find where the image will be located. For that purpose, we use two rays of light which start from the object. One ray of light starts from the object and it goes directly to the mirror. It makes 90-degree angle with the mirror. So the path on which the light goes, on the same path, the light will come back. This is the one ray. Another ray which I will use and we use to draw these figures, I am going to use a little bit trick. The trick which we use is that we first of all find what is the distance between the object and the mirror parallel to the object and the observer, and that distance you are supposed to measure parallel to the mirror, and you have to mark the midpoint. Suppose this is the midpoint between the object and the mirror. So take this point to the mirror, and this is making 90-degree angle with the mirror. Then with the help of a scale, join this point with the object. Okay, and join this point with the observer. Here, this will be the angle of incidence and this will be the angle of reflection, and they will be automatically equal to each other. Then, once you have drawn this, then prolong this line number 1 behind the mirror. Suppose I prolong it. Because it's behind the mirror, that's why it's virtual thing, I am drawing it with the dotted lines. Then this reflected ray, prolong it behind the mirror. Where these two lines will intersect, there the image will be seen by this observer. So this is how we can locate the image of a single point in the mirror. I have used two rays. One ray, both the rays start from the object. One ray goes directly to the mirror and from there comes back. This ray starts from the object, and from where you can strike it here, anywhere. But what I have done, the trick which we have played is that we have found what is the midpoint between the observer and the object and the observer. And then that point I projected it on the mirror. So at this point I will bring a line from the object, and from here I will take a line to the observer. Automatically, by doing so, automatically the angle of incidence and angle of reflection automatically will be equals to each other. Then I prolong this line behind the mirror. I prolong this reflected line behind the mirror. Where these two lines intersected, there the image of that object will be seen. You understand?
Yes, sir. Sir, one question.
Yeah.
Sir, what is or what can be the question behind this concept?
He said locate the image.
So, sir, we will draw these imaginary lines.
Yes.
And we will
The object is given, the observer is given, the mirror is given, and he will ask you locate the image. Okay? Okay, we can sometime, you know, the object might not be just a point. The object might be, for example, I have this object, suppose, and this is the mirror, suppose, and here you have the observer. Can you see this? A, B point. Okay? So now I have a mirror. Here I have a object, and here is the observer. And he wants us to find out to locate the image, or he wants you to draw the image. So very simple. I will locate the image by point. For example, first of all, let me take this A, this point. From A, I will use a ray of light which will go straight to the lens, to the mirror, and come back. Then, you see, this is the observer. Okay? And this is point A. So, you see, from here and this line, mark the midpoint. For example, I think this will be the midpoint. You will do it with the scale. Okay? So, project this here. Okay. So, from A, bring a light here. And from here, okay? Check what is the midpoint between these 2 points. That is
yes, sir, almost here.
Okay. So from here, you see, if I will, this should be dotted line. This will be A prime. Start a line from here. You can see. Start a line from here. Straight. Come back. And another line from B here. And from here it goes there. So prolong them behind the mirror. So there they intersect, that will be prime. So you see, actually what I did, this is point A. I tried to locate its image, A prime. This is B. I tried to locate its image, point by point. Just join them. So the observer will see the image like this. Okay. another trick. Same diagram with a different technique. Okay. You see, suppose it's a technique. Okay, so try to. It's a rule. Look at here. For example, this is an object. And here is the observer. I. This is a different technique, okay? In this technique, what I do, this is a rule, basically. You start a ray from here, you directly come to the mirror. That makes 90-degree angle with the mirror. So this light is coming and is going back. Then you prolong it behind the mirror. Okay? I know this is a law that when the image is formed in a plane mirror, this is a law basically. The distance of the object in front of the mirror and the distance of the object from the mirror behind the mirror, they are same. The distance of the object from the mirror and distance of the image from the mirror, they are equal. This is the second trick which I am telling you how to draw these diagrams. You check what is the distance here. And you mark same distance here. For example, if I check this, approximately 2. Okay, so this, the image should be formed. Okay? Then, what you do, you join it directly with the observer. You join this point. You understand the steps? First, I mark this thing. The distance of the object from the mirror and the distance of the image from the mirror is same, and it will be on the same line. Then join this point with the observer. You see? Join it behind the mirror. When I draw the lines, I draw them dotted. But in front of the mirror, I draw continuous lines. Okay. So, you see, I join the image with the observer. Then, join the object with this point. Okay? And then you can draw a normal also. You see, you can draw a normal here.
Midpoint.
Automatically this angle of incidence and angle of refraction,
The second method,
they will be equal to each other.
The second method is easy.
The second method is easy. Okay, let's try that method on this diagram also. How much time? Okay, now let's try this method here also. Suppose this is a lamp, a mirror. Okay, and I have an object who is A, B. This is my object. Let me make another also. Here is the observer. Here I have an observer. So the method is very simple. The same technique now I will apply here. You start point by point, I will work on it. Okay? So from here, bring a light ray which is perpendicular to the mirror. Okay? And prolong it behind the mirror. Check what is the distance. So mark it here. Because we know that the distance of the image from the mirror and distance of the object from the mirror is equal to each other. So let me call it A prime. Then join this A prime with the observer. Join this A prime with the observer. Okay, so let me join it. Okay, this line should be dotted. You understand? Then join A with this point. Okay, if you will draw a perpendicular here, automatically I'm making it with the rough hand, but still you see they look like same. The angle of incidence and angle of reflection will be automatically equal to each other. Okay, now let's do it for the B. From B, I will start a ray which comes perpendicularly to the mirror, and I will prolong it behind the mirror. I will check how much is the distance. Okay, so B will be here. Let me call it B prime. Then I will join B prime with the observer. Okay, you see, this line behind the mirror should be dotted. Then I will join this point with the B. See, I can draw here normal. Which makes 90. This is angle of incidence, this is angle of reflection. You see, this will be the image. If somewhere you have to actually draw this diagram, we can draw it. It's easy? Understand this technique?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Equal. Let's try one more. Okay. Now, suppose a man is standing in front of a mirror. A man. Huh? 3D?
सर मैन का काफी मुश्किल हो जाएगा
क्यों?
सर एक छोटे-छोटे
स्टिक मैन है दूसरा एप्पल बता
Okay, let me show you.
है
Okay, here we have a mirror, and here we have a man. He's wearing a hat. Okay. Here are his eyes and his body. And his face. Okay? Okay. Now he's standing in front of the mirror. He says, let's draw his image in the mirror. He is able to see his top of his head, and he is also able to see the toes of his feet. So let's draw the image of his hat. So this, from here I will take a line straight. Okay, check how much is the distance.
half meter.
This. Join this point with your eyes. Hello? So bring this line to the eyes. Your eyes. Okay?
अच्छा हेड को देख रहे हो
ठीक है क्या? So it should be little longer. Let me इसको लंबे बना देते हैं. Okay? So this should be dotted, and it started from here, so it should go there, and from here it got reflected. ठीक है? अब एक और interesting. If this is the toe, ठीक है, of his width. So बेटे देखिए, prolong it. This makes 90-degree angle with the mirror.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So this is of 2, 1.
2, 1, yes.
It should be here. So I will join this line with his eyes.
Oh.
Join this point with his eyes.
उस तरफ dotted होगा.
Okay, इसको dotted करना. Okay. So then join it with the toe.
इसे क्यों किया? भाई mirror से reflection हो रहा
When I will draw the normal
angle of reflection is equal to the angle of incidence.
These things are necessary. Yes.
then the angle of incidence, angle of reflection will be automatically
Same.
so now you see there will be so he is able to see the top of his head here and he is able to see his toe of his foot here. These are the images. The question which actually comes is that what should be the minimum length of the mirror that will be enough so he can see his head, the top of head and so that minimum length is this much from here to here. This is the length of the mirror which is actually needed.
The length from which he can see his head, the top.
If you have just this much length of the mirror on this position, you don't need this mirror, this
Yes, right.
and this mission. Yes. The actual question which is in your exam, a past paper somewhere, is that what is the minimum length width of the mirror which is required
That is the
so that the person standing
in
front of the mirror can see the top of his head and the tip of his toes. So this is that minimum mirror.
तो जिससे थोड़ा ज़्यादा नहीं होगा?
Yeah.
थोड़ा ज़्यादा. आप ज़्यादा नहीं.
नहीं. His question is what is the minimum?
Minimum.
Yes. ज़्यादा तो you can have.
छोटे से छोटा.
Yes. Minimum.
छोटे से छोटा.
Okay. So let's consider another example. For example, in your book, in your past paper somewhere, he has given an example. He says, we have a ceiling,
Oh.
and there is some work done on the ceiling. It's some kind of museum. And he says that when the people come in the museum and they want to see the work done on the ceiling, it's a bit difficult for them to look upward.
Mirror.
It strains their necks. So how we can use the mirrors so that you don't have to look upward? So the easiest method is, for example, here is some art. There is some artwork. So here you can place a mirror on the floor. On the floor put the mirror. So the observers, when they come here and they see, they don't have to, they will look into the mirror only. They don't have to look upward to see that artwork.
Not too much upward or not too much downward.
Yeah, just simply, if the mirror is here, you can see in the mirror. So when you see into the mirror, you will be able to see the artwork done on the ceiling. Okay? And in that question, you also have to draw the ray diagram to show that how this is done. You see, it's very simple. Try to understand. Let me increase the size of this. Okay, so suppose I will show you just one of the. Okay, one ray, let's say I suppose comes here. Try to understand. From the same point, I am considering ray number 1. Okay, this is mirror. This is basically mirror. So, what I will do, try to understand, it's a different trick now. I will draw a normal on this surface. What is the normal? Which makes 90-degree angle with the surface of this mirror. With the help of the protector, measure how much is the angle of incidence.
And then draw that angle.
Then mark the reflected ray.
At the same.
With the help of the protector, the angle of reflection will be equal to angle of incidence. For example, you mark it, suppose here. Because this angle of reflection will be equal to angle of incidence. Then prolong this reflected ray behind the mirror. You understand this?
Yes.
Do you understand? Okay. Let's try another ray. For example, another ray from the same point comes here. This is ray number 2. At this point, I will draw a normal. Normal is a line which makes 90-degree angle with the surface of the glass. Check how much is the angle of incidence. Okay. Then, with the help of the protector, I will mark here the angle of reflection. So the angle of reflection, angle of reflection should be equal to angle of
Incidence.
Then I will prolong it. You see, where these two rays behind the mirror, where these two rays will intersect, there the image of this point on the ceiling
Will be formed.
its image will be seen here. You understand? You see, whenever
Difficult.
it's a bit difficult, yes. Let me show you a very good question also. This question was an MCQ. Then I just find it. Let me show you. The technique which was used, let me show you. Okay. In MCQs there was a question. The observer was here, and here was object, and he has shown three diagrams which were wrong and the one was right. I am going to draw the right one only. Okay. The diagram he showed was, let me show you. Let me draw that diagram first. This was the diagram.
This is the right one.
This is the right diagram there. The other three diagrams are not drawn here. He said, which is the right diagram? This one is the right diagram. How do I know this is right diagram? Because the technique in that MCQ was, in every diagram, I or you yourself will prolong these reflected rays behind the mirror.
सर जी आप रॉन्ग भी बनाए हैं इसका हमें कैसे पता चलेगा सर? आप रॉन्ग
Wrong
डायग्राम
diagram.
में बनाए हैं जो रॉन्ग डायग्राम.
This was the right one. The wrong one I got drawn here. And for example, you see, when you look at the first glance, it will look round. The reason, they are not going into the observer's eye. The rays are not going into the eye. But the interesting thing is, when you prolong these reflected rays behind the mirror, where they intersect, the distance of the object and the distance of the image from the lens, that is equal. Plus they all intersect at the same point.
Yes, sir.
So that's it for today. So thank you very much. And today was 29th of September, and we have today worked on drawing or locating the image in the plane mirrors. So thank you very much. Have a good day.